Senator Rand Paul, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Mark, or good evening, actually. Thanks for having me.
You're on the West Coast, aren't you? That's why you've lost track of the time. First of all, I guess you saw Bobby Jindal dropped out. You saw that. What are your thoughts about that?
I think the field's going to continue to narrow, and we think we're in a good position to be a big factor, and hopefully we're going to be the sleeper that rises at just the right time.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk to you about your proposed legislation, which is based on legislation you brought up over 2 years ago, in securing, about security relating to immigration and refugees. Go ahead, you explain it.
I became very concerned in a very personal way because we admitted about 70,000 Iraqis to this country, and 2 of them showed up in my hometown, Bowling Green, Kentucky, and decided they would buy Stinger missiles. And we caught them, fortunately, but as we were investigating them, we found out one of them's fingerprints was on a bomb fragment, and the vetting process just didn't work. And so I became concerned that we were admitting people to a refugee status that might harm us, and I just didn't think we were capable, really, of knowing who was visiting the country. Then we had the Boston bombing, and the 2 kids that, hurt so many people and killed so many people, they were also here on a refugee status also. So when the immigration bill came forward, I said, you know what, we've got to try to stop this. So I put special language in my amendment, trust but verify, that said that students coming to visit us and refugees would have to go through some special scrutiny if they were coming from certain countries. It's about 30 of them that have significant radical jihadist movements. And I put it forward, and I thought it would have a good chance. I talked to Marco Rubio about it, and I thought, well, good. He's supposed to be a conservative. Maybe he'll listen to me. But what I didn't realize is that Marco Rubio and Chuck Schumer had a secret deal, and their deal was no amendments from conservatives.
All right, let's stop here. You're talking about the Gang of 8. You proposed this amendment, and they killed it.
Yeah, and they did it in a concerted fashion. All of the Gang of 8 voted in lockstep against any amendments proposed by conservatives. And so I put this forward. I think it's a national security amendment. I was trying to protect our country from people who would come in here without sufficient scrutiny and attack us. And this is a big deal because I'm having the same discussion with Marco now. How do we best defend the country? But if you're not willing to have adequate screening for those who would come to our country, including refugees, some significant prominent examples of whom have tried to attack us and have attacked us, I just don't think that's a conservative notion. And I still don't understand why, Marco's allegiance was more towards Chuck Schumer than it was towards conservatives.
So now your new bill would do what?
We would stop refugee immigration. We would also stop any kind of immigration, visitation, or study for students from certain countries until we have a 100% entry and exit program. What I mean by that is that we would know everybody that comes in, how long they're staying, and when they're leaving, and they would leave. Right now we have 11 million people who came into our country. 40% of them overstayed the visa. So we have a program where we don't know where 40% of 11 million people are. My concern is that if you put students and visitors from the Middle East and you use the same statistic of 40% overstaying their visas, that's a big problem. We're talking about thousands of people that we need to know where they are and why they're breaking the law. And until we know that, I think it's foolish to accept more. Nearly 1 million students come to our country every year. About 150,000 students come just from the Middle East.